Hello there guys, and welcome to this Explain 11 video. It sure has been a very long time since I've done an A to B style flight, and it's been an equally long time since I've done a flight aboard the JARDesign A320. So today we're going to be doing a flight from Vienna to Antalya in Turkey, and we're going to be flying at 35,000 feet, and our approximate flight time is 2 hours and 25 minutes. Welcome to the flight deck. Let's go ahead and get things started here. So battery 1 and 2 can go on, and we'll turn on the APU, and we'll wait for the APU now to become available. Now the aircraft has been updated both from the inside and outside. The texture work has been definitely improved, and it is looking pretty good right now. It's a lot better than what it used to look in its early days, for sure. And the thing I like about JARDesign is that they're one of the early adopters of Explain 11. They almost released a new version with every beta of Explain 11, which is commendable. And the aircraft itself is looking pretty good. Unfortunately, there are some things that are not representative of the real aircraft, one of which is the FMS. While it does look a lot like the Airbus MCDU, the functionality is still pretty much off in a lot of areas, and this is by an account of real Airbus pilot. And let's go ahead and turn the gears to nav mode. All right. And we'll switch this to STS. Oops. And this goes to position 1. There we go. Let's turn on the fuel pumps. And by the way, for this flight, we're carrying about 12,000 kilos of fuel. And let's go ahead and turn the packs on so that our passengers can get some fresh and cold air in the back. Nav lights can go on. Now, yeah, all right, let me go ahead and turn this on.
Your seatbelt is securely fastened. If you're on the exit row, that your window shade is open. Please make sure all seat back and tray tables are returned to their full upright and locked position, and all carry-in cabins securely stowed.
Radios.
All purses, book bags, handbags, anything on your lap to go all the way underneath that seat in front of you for takeoff. Also, please make sure all cell phones and tablets are placed into airplane mode.
Let's go ahead and enter our flight plan information now. And first thing we want to do is we want to go to initialization. And let's go ahead here and enter the zero fuel and block fuel for our flight. And now we can enter the route information. So we are at Lima Oscar Whiskey Whiskey, and we're going to be going to Lima Tango Alpha India, which is Antalya. And flight number today is Austrian 565, and of course this is a fictitious flight number, and the cost index is 24 for our flight. Now, a lot of you have asked me in the past, what is a cost index? And it's just a ratio between the total airline cost per hour divided by the fuel consumed per hour. So the fuel price consumed per hour, and that if you divide the total cost of the airline divided by the fuel consumed per hour, you will get the cost index. And so as the price of fuel increases, the cost index will decrease, and it's a number, it's always a value between 0 and 999. So there we go, and cruise altitude today is 35,000 feet. And align IRS. All right, let's go ahead now and take a quick look at our flight plan, just to grab our SIDS and stars and arriving runways. So we are going to be departing through the AMCO 2 Delta, runway 34, and we're going to be arriving into Antalya, runway 36 right, through the Kozl 1 Alpha. All right, we'll try to remember that. Let's go to the flight plan, and this is the departure runway 34 through the MCO to Delta. And we insert that into the flight plan. And when we reach Antalya, we are going to be doing an ILS runway 36 right. Now, I'm not sure which one of these is 36 right, but let's go ahead and select this one here. Okay, and the star is causal 1A. I believe that's the one. Yep, that's the one. And return, flight plan, insert, and we're pretty much done here. Let's just make sure that there are no discontinuities. Okay, it's looking all right. Now, one of the things that is not correct about this FMS is in the real Airbus MCD, when you click on flight plan, it should take you to the very first waypoint. And this one here doesn't. And this has been a problem ever since this aircraft was created. I'm not sure why it hasn't been fixed, but there you go. And the other thing is, as you fly from one waypoint to the other, the MCD should automatically show the waypoint that you're at. And this is something that doesn't happen in this Airbus. You have to manually click here to move the display to the active waypoint. So let's update the information here. We've got, let's see here, temperature's 14, QNH is 1020. All right, everything looks okay. Right, and let's go to performance now. Set our V1, V-rotate, and V2. And we're going to do flaps 1 for departure today. Flex temperature is 50. There we go. And we can set this, that. Not sure why it's changed this to 2. Let me try one thing here. There we go. So we're going to do flaps 1. And everything else is now ready for engine start. So let's go ahead and, one thing here. Let's set our altitude to 35,000 feet. There we go. And now we're pretty much ready for departure. So let's go ahead and turn the beacon on. Okay, beacon is on. Fasten seatbelt signs are on. Let's switch this to the ECAM to the door page. There we go. All doors are closed, and now we can start the engines. So let's go ahead and flip the ignition, and we'll start with engine number 1.
Starting engine 1.
Okay, and I think engine number 1 is now stable, so let's go ahead and start engine number 2.
Starting engine 2.
All right, let's go ahead and enter our QNH, which is 1020. There we go. And we can set now the auto brake to max. Flaps 1.
Flaps 1.
And let's arm the spoilers.
Spoilers arm.
And now we're pretty much ready to go. So let's do the flight control check. Full up, full down, full left, full right, neutral. And we'll check our rudder, left rudder, right rudder, and neutral. All right. Now that the engines are stable, we can turn off the APU and the APU bleed. And I think I turned the probe heat in the beginning, which we don't need. So I'll turn it off. And what else we need? We need the taxi lights and the runway turn-off lights as well. And now we are ready to taxi. All right, let's go ahead and taxi to runway 34.
And pull the tab on the loose end of the strip to tighten. Upon exiting the aircraft, pull down on the red tab to inflate the vest. It is important that you do not inflate the light vest while you're inside the aircraft.
I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard the news that P3D version 4, a 64-bit edition of P3D, is going to be available on the 30th of May, and which is a step up for Lockheed Martin, and everybody has been waiting for the 64-bit version of Prepared. Is just for Dovetail Games. I think this was like a really bad news, and the timing is just really. I think it kills Flight Sim World, and it makes it just a notch harder for the guys at Dovetail Games to kind of, you know, build a proper strategy now for going to market. For P3D, personally, I'm very excited about a 64-bit edition. P3D has always been a pain, just trying to, you know, fix things and tweak things to make it work and worry about VAS. And this is probably part of the reason why I haven't done as many P3D videos. But in my opinion, X-Plane 11 remains to be the #1 flight simulation platform available in the market today. Even with the announcement of the 64-bit edition of P3D, I just don't think that it can offer what X-Plane 11 offers today. And it's going to be very interesting to see how's that going to change the flight sim world in general. And I remain very optimistic that many good things will come into this community in the very near future. We are now approaching our turn to runway 34, and we're going to make a final stop here before we enter the runway in preparation for takeoff. All right, and power to idle. There is runway 34. All right, let's make our final stop here, and I'm going to set the parking brake
on.
All right, landing lights on, and the taxi light goes to takeoff, and strobes can go on, wing lights can go on, and everything else fine. We're going to turn off the packs for departure. All right, release the parking brake.
Park brake off.
And let's go. Now, immediately after departure, we're going to make a left turn, and we're going to maintain 15-degree pitch. All right, let's get lined up here. All right, and we are cleared for departure. Okay, let's go ahead and go for full throttle.
Power set. 100 knots. V1. Rotate.
Rotate.
Positive climb.
And gear is going up.
Gear up.
Alright, and we're going to begin our left turn now. And we're going to maintain about 15-degree pitch. We change the range here. There we go. All right, and line thrust. Alright folks, so the flaps have been retracted now and the autopilot is engaged. And we continue our steady climb to 35,000 feet, and in the meantime we will monitor the aircraft, make sure everything's okay, and I will see you guys at 35,000 feet. We just leveled off at 35,000 feet, which is our final cruising altitude for our flight today. A very exciting piece of news comes from Flight Factor, and it appears that they are nearing release of a study level A320. According to the forum post, the aircraft is going to be slightly more expensive than the Flight Factor fleet of aircraft, and the reason being is that this is going to be a very sophisticated aircraft in terms of system simulation. The forum post shows some pictures of the aircraft, and there is a YouTube video showing this aircraft during rain. And let me tell you, the rain effects on this aircraft is absolutely amazing. So I'm on standby. I'm waiting for this aircraft to come out. It's definitely going to change things all over again in the X-Plane world. So stay tuned, guys, and I will try to dig the forum post and provide it in the show notes below. The weather at Antalya at the moment is quite pleasant, so I don't anticipate any problems as we approach and land at the airport. But until then, enjoy the flight, and I will see you right before top of descent. Welcome back, guys. We are now approaching our top of descent. We're about 40 nautical miles from our top of descent, so it is a good time to start checking the weather at our destination and configure the FMS for our approach. So, arrival airport, verbose weather and wind. We have scattered clouds at 3,000. Temperature is 21 degrees Celsius. QNH is 1013, and there is no significant change in the weather conditions in the past hour. Okay, let's go ahead and head over to the MCDU and configure everything for our approach. So QNH is 1013. Temperature is 21 Celsius. And for the wind speed and direction, we're just going to put 0 and 0. Transition altitude is 15,000 feet, and we're going to do flaps full for our approach today, and that gives us a V approach speed of 144 knots. Alright, we are configured now. And we are approximately 30 nautical miles now from our top of descent. So let's go ahead and reset the altitude to 3,000 feet. And our final approach altitude should be 1,500 feet. So that's 3,000. And now we're ready for our descent as soon as we reach our top of descent mark. Alright, I believe we are close enough to our top of descent mark, so let's go ahead and begin the descent. There we go. And now we're going to descend to 3,000 feet, and just right before our final approach, we'll descend to 1,500 feet, which is our final approach altitude to intercept the localizer at Antalya.
Ladies and gentlemen,
And by the way, the news on X-Enviro is that the update to version 1.07 is coming out very soon. I don't know how soon, but that's what it says on the Facebook page. Alright, I will see you guys right after we descend to our transition altitude, which is 15,000 feet. We've reached our transition altitude of 15,000 feet, so let's go ahead and set the altimeter to standard, and let's grab our altimeter, which is 1013. So let's set the altimeter, and let's see how we're doing. We're doing okay in terms of our descent. We are now approaching 10,000 feet, so speed has been reduced to 250 knots. And let's go ahead and turn on our landing lights. At this point, I'm going to reduce our speed to 220 knots. So we'll go ahead and there we go, 220 knots. Okay, and at this point, I'm going to reduce our speed to 205 knots. And now I'm going to introduce flaps 1.
Speed checked. Flaps 1.
Okay, and we're going to reduce the altitude to our final approach altitude of 1,500 feet. That is set now. The localizer is now active. So let's go ahead and reduce our speed to about 185 knots. Okay, and let's go ahead now and go to flaps 2.
Speed checked. Flaps 2. Approach phase activated. Radio altimeter alive.
Alright, and at this point we're going to go ahead and click on the approach button. Okay, and let's go ahead and reduce our speed now to 175 knots. Okay, and now it's a good time to arm the auto brake and arm the speed brake.
Spoilers arm.
Alright, and now we're going to go to 160 knots.
Speed checked. Flaps 3.
Flaps 3,
Gear down.
gear down. Right, and we'll go to 147. And flaps full.
Speed checked. Flaps full. One thousand.
Right, and let's go ahead and disengage the autopilot.
500,
And it's my plane now.
400,
Land green checked.
300,
100 above.
minimum, 100, 50, 40, 30, 20, retard,
Ground spoilers. Nacelle.
And
Reverse
reverses
green.
are out. And manual braking. And welcome to Antalya.
Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened, those seat backs and tray tables in their full upright and locked position, and all carry-on.
100, 50, 40, 30, 20, 100, 50.
This brings us to the conclusion of our video today. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. I certainly enjoyed making it for you. Until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other. I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.